All right, everyone, welcome back. We are at AME live here in Grand Rapids, and today I have the absolute honor of talking to Kim Hildebrand. Thank you for joining us today. Super excited to have you here, so we're going to get right into it. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your current role.
Sure. I'm a human resources manager, and I do HR consulting. Creston is my biggest client. I wear every hat there is in HR. I love it. It's very exciting. I've been in an HR manufacturing setting for 30 years.
Okay.
So most of my experience has been in some sort of manufacturing environment. Construction as well, which is, I think, kind of a cousin to manufacturing.
It's skilled trades.
Yeah, I love seeing businesses succeed, and I love to see employees find their path and find their belonging. So I have an opportunity to help them meet both.
Okay, perfect. I love that. How did you get into the industry? Like, was it on accident? Did you go to school for it? Like, how did you get into this space?
Into HR?
Like, HR and within manufacturing?
Sure. So I really stumbled into human resources because I was right out of college and I spent a couple of years in a social work setting, was laid off, we lost funding. So I was trying to figure out what else I wanted to do. I went to a temporary staffing firm, and I thought, well, I'll just get my foot in the door somewhere and find my path, and ended up working for them.
Okay.
Not in a temporary capacity, but working as someone who did interviewing and placing. And so I had the opportunity to see all kinds of industries. We placed temporary employees in a lot of environments. So I got to see a lot of the manufacturing world and fell in love with that. Manufacturing it's really cool to see things getting built and how people have to work together as teams. Manufacturing is one of the few areas that you can get into with just a good attitude, good work ethic, some drive and willingness to learn, and not necessarily have to carry any more than that into the workplace, and you can make your whatever career out of it you want.
Right.
And so I just really kind of ended up in that manufacturing setting doing human resources work.
Right. I love that. Every time I talk to someone about like why they like the manufacturing industry, they're always like, I like it because of this, and it's different for everybody, but everybody likes being here. So I love that. But is there something that keeps you specifically in that field?
I think I see a lot of the work ethic, and it's very merit driven. You know, if you work hard and you show up and you have that willingness, it's really cool to see. I'm a firm believer that work is good for people. I think sometimes getting your hands dirty and just being able to, apply yourself is it's just a good thing to see.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Is there anything any challenges you faced when you first got here? Like to the industry itself, was there anyone that helped you, or did you just kind of roll with the punches?
Oh, those are good questions. You know, it's a little intimidating initially when you're younger in your career, newer in your career, and a female, and oftentimes you walk into an environment and you are the only woman in a sea of men. You know, it's changed a lot over the years since I've been doing this, but it can be intimidating. But then when you realize that you have something to give, and you can problem solve with the best of them and just add a different perspective, the intimidation tends to go away.
Yeah.
I asked a lot of questions, and when people are able to kind of really brag a little bit about what they do, they show you all the different things that they do, those challenges of that intimidation being accepted into that environment kind of goes away. So I definitely think that one of the biggest challenges is that intimidation factor initially.
Right.
So yeah, and I think the challenge right now, especially with people coming out of high school, trying to find work, is recognizing that it is a really good place to get a career.
Yeah.
You don't really have to go to college. Certainly some positions in manufacturing really need degrees, but there are a lot of opportunities for people to build their career without that debt. Explaining that, I think, is a challenge.
Yeah, I think so, and I think a lot of people have this stigma around the industry where people are like, it's dirty, or you're not going to make money, and it's trying to break people out of that. I know there's apprenticeship programs that are out there where kids can get into it, and I know people making a ton of money, so it's you're right, trying to explain that to people is just, sometimes they don't grasp it until they're here doing it. I didn't even know that until I was here doing that.
Yeah.
So is there any advice you'd have for people who may be intimidated coming into the industry?
Asking a lot of questions, showing interest and curiosity, being willing to learn and show that drive.
Yeah.
And honestly, it can be as simple as showing up every day.
That's
really
true.
just showing up every day, having a good attitude, I always start with a heart of gratitude. Like being grateful for every opportunity.
Right.
And I definitely think that's another thing advice I would give is learning as much as you can, about how things flow and how the work, not just looking at your little part,
Right.
but watching how it goes through the whole assembly line and the whole chain, and then who uses it at the end.
Right. So I think that's good information to have, and that's why I like shows like this, because you can talk to the people making it and see their process and see how it goes. So yeah, I love that. And you did mention something about stepping into male-dominated field when you were jumping into it, which it still is male-dominant in some ways, but we're climbing those ladders. But is there any advice you have for women, like resources they can go to?
Getting over the intimidation factor is very helpful. I also think that having a little confidence and being willing to ask the questions, show that you're willing to learn, because manufacturing requires a lot of problem solving.
Yeah.
And the ones that get it right figure out that by the time a part goes out the door, so many processes have happened up to that point. So many people have touched the product. So being able to think logically and critically and do the problem solving is very helpful. I don't know why this happens, but sometimes women in those environments find themselves just having a different vantage point. There were plenty of times when I was the only female in a meeting of 20 men.
Right.
And I would just ask one question because I was curious in a different way, and it made a difference. So speaking up and being brave to do that, I think is my advice.
Yeah, and being in an environment where you're comfortable doing that too helps, right?
Yeah.
In that room full of men, they were willing to answer those questions for you and teach you. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think that's another stigma around the industry is people don't help you learn, but that's so untrue. It's you ask a question and they are right there wanting to tell you everything about it. So
absolutely.
That's awesome. I know you said that helping people is your favorite thing to do, but is there something else that you love about the work you do? What's your favorite part about it? Why do you love getting up and going to work every day?
It's funny, human resources has a wide breadth of things that we work on, and then a lot of depth to it as well. For example, there are some people who love to run payroll, and it's very specific, right? I'm not one of them either,
right.
But they love checking boxes and making the numbers all match. I would pull my hair out doing that all day.
I agree.
But some people just love that.
Right.
The part I loved about HR and have loved in my career is the problem-solving piece. And people are so complex. We have so many different dimensions to us, our experiences, how we react to other people. And I'm just so curious about that, trying to have someone feel like they're being heard, help them communicate in a way that is helpful. Because if you go into a situation and you start out of the gate with the wrong tone, the wrong demeanor, the wrong words, and you set the other person off and it escalates, I like to try to figure out how to help people get along better with each other.
Yeah.
And what I find is if I'm able to help them be better communicators at work, oftentimes that happens outside the workplace as well.
Very true.
And people are able to talk to their spouses or their children better, or their other relationships.
Yeah. That's why I think you said earlier something about you think people need work.
Yes.
Right? Yeah, I think that's a valid point to make because it's we learn things at work that we may not have known or used in our daily lives.
Right.
And then we take that. So it's we're learning things every day, talking to new people every day, and I love that. So that's something you get to deal with all the time, being able to get the people to see those types of things. What's something that keeps you here?
I think the complexity of people in the workplace. I'm closer-ish to retirement than others. And I don't see that happening soon because I just love working. I love contributing. And now I'm seeing newer generations come into the workplace. And I'm finding oftentimes now it's switched for me where I was learning from a lot of people who are willing to mentor me. And I'm able to then help people find their way. And I love that. I mean, it's just so fulfilling in so many ways.
I was going to say, that's got to be rewarding. This was you at one point, and now you're reverse teaching them or helping them. That's amazing. That's another thing I love about the industry. It's very rewarding in so many ways. Whatever facet of the industry you're in, it's very rewarding.
It is. It's really cool to see, too, depending on the type of industry or part of the manufacturing world that you're in, in a lot of ways you can look at something and say, hey, my company built that,
Right.
or a part of what we did is in that.
Yeah.
And that is really, really cool.
Yeah, I know that's something I always brag about. I'm like, hey, I know where that was made. It's in shops like the one I work in.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. So where can people find more information about you and the company that you are running?
Sure, yeah. My business is HR Potential LLC. I have a LinkedIn page. I'm very tied to Creston Industrial Sales, do all of their HR work. So yeah, my LinkedIn contact information is probably the best.
Everyone, you heard it here from Kim. If you want to connect with her, go ahead and find her on LinkedIn, send her a message, chat with her, just get to know her. And Kim, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Joining us. It was great to hear more about you and learn more about the role that you play in the industry.
Thank you.